This is a bonus episode of Away, a podcast for anyone interested in a secular approach to 12-step recovery. I'm your host, Steph Roberts. Hello, everybody. It is a Wednesday evening for me recording this. I'm sorry it's been a while since I recorded a podcast. I think that reading Two Wives took every last ounce of my energy from me for a little bit. And in truth, we'll finish up the rest of the book probably in one, maybe two more episodes. But I wanted to make mention of a pamphlet that a friend of mine in the rooms brought to a meeting for me because it is a pamphlet that my former home group does not have and should, and as it turns out, many home groups do not have and should. It is, if this is important to you or people in your group, this is AA General Service Conference approved literature. And it is the pamphlet called The God Word, Agnostic and Atheist Members in AA. It is no surprise to me that it was originally put out by General Services in Great Britain. The inside cover page has the preamble printed on it, which, as I've said before, is what I think is the most important that you can hear. Let's start by reading that and really listening to the message of the preamble, which is, or should be, the primary message of AA to the newcomer and to anyone else. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength, and hope with each other that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organization, or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. Period. The God Word opens up with an introduction, the pamphlet, and the introduction reads as follows. AA is not a religious organization. Alcoholics Anonymous has only one requirement for membership, and that is a desire to stop drinking. There is room in AA for people of all shades of belief and non-belief. Many members believe in some sort of God, and we have members who come from and practice all sorts of religions. But there are also atheists or agnostics. It's important to remember that AA is not a religious organization. We have a simple idea that there is a power greater than us as individuals. What we all have in common is that the program helps us find an inner strength that we were previously unaware of. Where we differ is in how we identify the source. That's really important. Let's reread that. What we all have in common is that the program helps us find an inner strength that we were previously unaware of. Where we differ is in how we identify the source. Some people have thought of the word God as standing for good orderly direction or even group of drunks. But many of us believe that there is something bigger than ourselves that is helping us today. This power may lie within some person's religious beliefs, or It can be completely separate from any religion. For example, one member looks at the sea and accepts that that is a power greater than him. We could ask ourselves, do I believe that somehow there is a power greater than myself? It goes on. As AA co-founder Bill W. wrote in 1965, we have atheists and agnostics. We have people of nearly every race, culture, and religion. In AA, we're supposed to be bound together in the kinship of a common suffering. Consequently, the full individual liberty to practice any creed or principle or therapy, whatever, should be a first consideration for us all. Let us not, therefore, pressure anyone with our individual or even our collective views. Let us always try to be inclusive rather than exclusive. Let us remember that each alcoholic among us is a member of AA so long as he or she declares. The introduction finishes up by saying, whatever you do, please don't let someone else's religious beliefs prevent you from finding the solution that is available to you through Alcoholics Anonymous. I mean, if we could just read that last paragraph at the end of every meeting, I would be happy. Printed on the back of this pamphlet is a declaration of unity and the I am responsible thing. I don't even know what you call that. Wouldn't it be really cool if we just closed all meetings with I am responsible when anyone, anywhere reaches out for help? I want the hand of AA always to be there. I mean, it's perfect. It's what we're all doing there. It leaves out nobody. This is my personal responsibility to stay sober and help other alcoholics achieve sobriety. I would love to hear that instead of a prayer at the end of every meeting. Anyway, the pamphlet continues. It has an atheist's experience in AA, the story of a man named Paul. Then there's another story called Living Sober as an Agnostic, Neil's story, Mikey's story, Sheila's story, Dean's story, another story called An Atheist in Recovery. I'm just going to read the short essay, possibly too short even to call an essay, for which the pamphlet is named The God Word. While I respect that many AA members believe in a God of their understanding, I cannot conceive of a supernatural being that resides in the sky, has human characteristics, especially those of the male gender, and organizes me and everyone else as if I were a master puppeteer. And yet I have no difficulty in accepting a power greater than myself, and that such an acceptance is vital to my continued recovery. I guess that makes me agnostic, but I don't like to be defined by labels, although I do use it when in the presence of someone who is struggling to find a power greater than themselves. The power of the AA group is undoubtedly greater than myself, and involvement with this power is vital to my continued recovery. As Aristotle said, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. But in my daily life, outside of meetings, and indeed to practice the God steps, I need a different conception of a power greater than myself. On page 55 of the big book, it says, quote, we found the great reality deep down within us. Through the practice of daily meditation, I sense, beneath the mental chatter and the fleeting bodily feelings, a deep sense of calm and peace from which I draw strength to be able to deal with all that occurs in my daily life. The power to carry it out, as it says in Step 11. This I identify as my true nature, which is common to all of us. It is also, for me, the great reality that is referred to in the Big Book, that is beyond all concepts and labels, and that defies all attempts at description. So that pretty much sums up what we've been talking about all along. And it's a phenomenal pamphlet, and you can call General Services and get a copy. You can ask your group at a business meeting to get some copies, to put them out. Because whether or not individuals in the group like it, there are atheists and agnostics who will try to get sober using AA and should have the option to remain atheist or agnostic. There are a couple of other pamphlets I wanted to mention. One's called Inside AA, Understanding the Fellowship and its Services. It's good because it explains things, terms you'll hear, conference sessions, delegates, general service committee, all that sort of thing. You'll hear people talking about that, so that can be very helpful if you're a newcomer or if you're someone who wants to get more involved in AA in your group or in the bigger picture. There is a pamphlet, I don't know when it was first published, but it's great. It's LGBTQ alcoholics in AA. And I will probably look at this a little more in series 2. There is and has been for some time a pamphlet for women in AA that I haven't delved into at all, but I will in the second series. At first glance, it seems like a pretty helpful pamphlet. And lastly, but not leastly, is AA for alcoholics with mental health issues and their sponsors. To say that AA is not a hotbed of mental health is to put it mildly. I can't diagnose anybody else's mental health, especially because I'm not an MD of any kind. For many of us, alcohol medicated something very real. That's not just a throwaway phrase, self-medicated. For many, if not most of us, it quite literally medicated another mental health issue. For some people who have no other problems, chemically speaking, neurologically speaking, perhaps sobriety is enough. For most of us, it isn't. And I know that there is still a stigma attached to mental health issues. And it saddens me that I still hear it from other alcoholics in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous. Maybe saddens is wrong. It infuriates me. I can't stress enough the importance of a whole solution. Sobriety is the first step to getting well. But there's a lot more to it than just putting down alcohol. And AA addresses some of that, and mental health is a huge part of a total health picture. Anyway, enough of my lecturing and ranting for tonight. See if you can get your group to pick up some of these pamphlets. At the very least, the God Word. I'd love to hear of all of them being at your meetings. And I hope that, hearing more of this, knowing what's available, that it helps you to remember that no matter what, there is a way.